Running a one-person business for the past 6 months has completely changed my life, and this isn't going to be some crazy success story. I'm going to give you a peek inside of the last 6 months and what it's actually like to start a one-person business, so that you can hopefully avoid some of the mistakes that I made and start earning much faster than I did. Before starting a one-person business, I was leading a team of 5. It was 5 of us and one goal: to run a simple education business selling digital products and services. Our objective was simple. It was to help beginners, creators, and coaches market and sell their products and services. And as beginners, we were doing pretty good. And at that time, our biggest win was launching a coaching program and making over $10,000 in a single month. And from the outside looking in, it sounds good, right? Launching digital products, making money with your friends, hitting 10K months, like, it was unbelievable. It was actually fun building a business with my friends and being able to make money online. But there was one small issue. You see, none of us had a personal brand, at least one that was big enough to bring in traffic. That's because your brand is your marketing and sales team in one. You don't have to run any crazy promotions or ads in order to get traffic. You are your own traffic source. Without it, you won't survive. That means no traffic and no one knows about you, your products, or your services. Now, let me walk you through our 10K month and exactly how we got there. As April 2024 was coming to an end, we finally decided to address the elephant in the room. Our product at the time wasn't bringing in enough profit. Although we managed to make a few dollars, it just wasn't enough. I'll leave a link right here so that you can watch the full video on how I made $1,100 in 24 hours selling digital products. Our monthly expenses ate away at our business account. Every morning I'd wake up and check our balance just to see that ads, Zoom, school, Stripe, Stan Store, Loom were all eating away at our balance. And slowly but surely, all these subscriptions started to pile up quickly. But the issue wasn't expenses, it was the time that it took to replenish the account. Sales were starting to slow down. And the thing about business is that bills don't stop coming. Whether your sales stop slowing down or not, your bills will always be there. And I remember at the time, my friend Brian, who was also one of our team members, was working with a creator. One day, I woke up out of my bed to my phone buzzing, and he had sent me about a dozen text messages telling me about how he was launching a new coaching program for this creator, and he was creating the offer, building the program, promoting on socials, running a webinar, and even getting their clients results. He had everything planned out. And I can't even lie, when he brought up the idea, I was fired up for him. I love seeing my friends win, and I love learning about new things that I didn't previously know about, especially when it comes to business. I seen it as a learning opportunity for myself, but he also brought up a good point. He said, we should try coaching too. I mean, it made sense. We weren't making enough to feed the entire team, and we needed to make ends meet as fast as possible. The next day, we had a Zoom meeting, and he laid out everything, exactly how we were going to launch and run our own webinar, get our own traffic, and make money from our own coaching program. The entire team was excited and everybody was just happy for this new mission. We'd finally be able to make money and pay the entire team without having to stress about expenses and bills and all the other things that just add up on the back end. Our thought process was simple. We was like, okay, we're just gonna run a community and we're gonna run a coaching program at the same time. After all, we're a team of 5, so what could go wrong, right? So for the next 2 days, we put our head down, we studied how to run a webinar, and we set up our offer, our landing page, and the entire back-end system. Once we started promoting our webinar, something crazy happened. You see, the same creator that Brian was working with before already ran their webinar, and guess how much they was able to make from it? $30,000 in just one webinar. When I tell you that my mouth dropped, literally. I thought this was it. We're going to switch over to coaching, help people one-on-one, and get crazy results. I was ready to book a trip to Cancun. I thought I was going to be a millionaire from that one webinar, and my mind was racing with excitement. You know that thing that you do when you pull out your phone and you start calculating how much money you're gonna make and how much what you're gonna pay for your bills and how much you're gonna save, how much you're gonna invest, how much you're gonna spend on yourself. That's the type of excitement that I had, and the day finally came. Our very first webinar, and after seeing Brian's success with his creator, you best believe that I was excited nervous, and almost pooping my pants. We stayed up all night practicing, revising, editing, and perfecting our entire presentation. 6 p.m. hit, went live, seats filled up, and everything went as smooth as can be. And that's when something special happened. You see, at the end of the call is when you introduce your offer, and we finally got to the end. My hands were sweating and my heart was racing. And then boom, no sales. Not one. Not a single sale. But the truth is, it's business, and that's how things go. No feelings was lost. We went back to the drawing board, we made some revisions, and we just dusted off our shirts. We was like, all right, let's run this next one and make some changes so that we can start getting some money coming in. And we ran one the following week after that. This time we had around 15 to 20 more people than our first webinar. Things were looking good, I'm not gonna lie. And we got to the end, and that is when everything changed. We got our first sale, then another, and another. And our eyes completely opened. That was our motto, webinar and coaching. That was our entire plan for the month of May. We weren't gonna do anything else but webinar and coaching. Every week, promote a webinar, go live on Thursday at 6 p.m. and that was literally it. It felt surreal. After having an amazing launch with our first community in January and then struggling to sell it all the way up into April, we finally found something that works. And in that moment, we decided to do something very risky. You see, we needed more traffic. In order to make money with a webinar, the more people that you have on there, the higher your chances go. So our game plan was to take every last penny that we made from the month of May, put that into ads, and run our biggest webinar yet. So that meant not paying ourselves and literally going all in to make this dream happen. We were maybe spending around $800 to $900 a day on just ads, and with more people signing up, this looked like it was going to be our biggest webinar yet. Spots were filling up so fast. We had a bunch of new faces that we never seen before, and we literally thought we was going to change the entire world. The day finally came and it was showtime. Our biggest webinar yet. 6 p.m. things would go live. The day finally came and it was showtime. Same process, Thursday night, 6 p.m. we went live and no one bought. Not one single soul purchased that night. Not one. Every dollar we had made flushed down the toilet. And I'm not even gonna lie, it was soul crushing to see all the work that we had did for the entire month of April and May, to take every single dollar, pour it back into our business just to flush it down the toilet. It hurt, but I'm not one to see things as a loss or a L. I like to see it as an opportunity, a chance for me to actually grow from the situation and learn how I can be better for next time. And that's exactly what I took it as. And that lesson was traffic. You see, up until that point, I wasn't creating content. I wasn't writing newsletters or recording YouTube videos or even posting on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. I was hiding behind one account with my team. We had one person creating content. We were just the back-end guys. We were setting up the funnels, the offers, the programs, while our content guy, Sam, was making all of the content. It was just him by himself. And that's when things got crystal clear. We all needed to create content. And in that moment, that is what pushed me to make the decision to pick up a camera and start recording. If you have any plans to make life-changing money on the internet, one thing is super crystal clear. You need traffic. That is as simple as that. Without traffic, you have no business, your products don't sell. And that was the light bulb that turned on for me. So if you get anything out of this story, it's that personal branding and content isn't just posting random videos online. It's the lifeblood of your business. It's how your ideal avatar discovers you online and are able to transact with you. You have to take it seriously. You need to. Because without it, your business will never go anywhere. That vision that you have will never come to pass. And I need you to start posting consistently every single day. Because if you haven't up to this point of watching this video right now, let this serve as your reminder. I don't care if you've heard it 1,000,001 times. Let this be your 1,000,002nd time hearing it. Post consistently. Start today, right now, after this video. Because without consistency, your content, your brand will never go anywhere. So fast forward to June, we start posting content on TikTok. We're posting videos every day. And we even did the Higher Up Wellness Challenge where you have to post a 1-minute video every single day for I think 30 days or 60 days, something like that. And that's when we realized just how bad we actually were. We were scared to talk on camera. We were stumbling over our words. We were nervous sharing our beliefs and our ideas and our stories. And everything just felt so awkward and off. And after that first 30 days had passed, my consistency started to dip. We had quit our community to focus on coaching, but then shortly after, we stopped coaching and stopped running webinars so that we could focus on content. And to top it all off, one of our coaching clients decided out of nowhere to hit us with a nasty chargeback. No reach out, no heads up, just a negative Stripe account. And we ended up winning the chargeback because we had all the proof to show that we delivered on our end and they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. That's when I realized you can file multiple chargebacks even after you've lost. So on their end, when they would lose, they just go and file another one and another one and another one and keep reopening the same case. Every time they filed it, we won, but it got annoying because our account just kept going negative and negative and negative every single time. And mind you, we still had other coaching clients who were paying us, and every time they'd pay us, it'd just go to a negative account. But regardless, we still needed to get our business back up and running. So we tried relaunching our community, and that failed. We tried relaunching our coaching program, and that failed. And at that moment, we realized we need to stop throwing spaghetti at the wall and take our time to build a real audience. An audience that actually matters. An audience that knows me for who I am. And an audience that I'm dedicated to. I learned branding. I learned content. I learned storytelling. I learned how to create offers. I learned how to get leads. I learned how to create scripts. And I learned all the different types of products and services that you can offer as an education business. I seen that as my isolation period to develop myself and become someone who is worth having an audience, someone who has something valuable to say. This process wasn't just for me to make money. It was for me to get good, like get really good. And that's why this video isn't me telling you about some random success story. It's about getting back up again, regardless of how many times you fail, how many times life punches you in the mouth. You get back up swinging every single time. You're going to take some hits, but that's the beauty that comes out of it. It's about building resilience. It's about building that grit, because that same blessing that you're praying for, one day you have to make sure that you're able to handle it. You don't want to be the type of person who prays to God for $1 million and then as soon as you get it, you end up wasting it on nothing. You want to be the person who takes that, builds something out of it, and creates an empire. That's why the one-person business isn't just a money grab. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's self-transcendence. You're connecting yourself to a higher purpose in life, something that you derive meaning from without getting a reward for it every single time. What originally started as vanity turns into a self-development journey that transforms your entire approach and perspective to life. It's a journey of becoming skillful in your craft and becoming the best version of yourself and attracting your tribe, which is what made me realize who my tribe actually is. The entrepreneurs, the hard workers, the creators, the dreamers, and the doers. The ones who know that they're chosen and aren't willing to give up or back down regardless of what the circumstances. I wasn't just able to have a 10K month as a beginner. I was able to self-reflect and see my real flaws. See the flaws in my skill set, my mindset, and most importantly, the flaws in my heart. I was able to see what I actually needed to work on within myself. It set me on a journey of learning, building, and experimenting. And whether you're in your getting ready to do it phase or you're currently in your rebuilding phase, that's what you need right now. You need a new mission, a new adventure, a new journey to go on that causes you to look at yourself and really contemplate whether you can stay where you are right now or you need to level up in every domain of your life. Because the truth is, if I quit back in May, I wouldn't be here right now sharing my story with you. And I don't know how this story might impact you on your journey. I have no idea how it can change your entire trajectory. Because the thing is, I'm not sharing this as a I'm up here journey and you can do it too. I'm sharing this as we're on the same playing field and we're both working to climb the mountain. So for now, it's one foot in front of the other. So if you're currently thinking about getting started, just got started, or you're in your rebuilding phase, here's 5 lessons that I'd love to leave you with. Let me know down in the comments where you're currently at on your journey. Are you rebuilding and looking for a simple business to start? Or did you already start your one person business and you're just trying to grow and hit the next level? Lesson number 1, have faith in God, yourself, and the process. A verse that I personally live by is Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. My mom had me memorize this verse since I could first remember. And now I use it in whatever I go through in life, whether it's something I'm going through, a challenge or obstacle that I'm facing. It gives me strength and allows me to know that I'm not doing it by myself. And I have someone behind me, Jesus Christ, who is helping me along my journey. I will always put my faith in God first and foremost to let him direct my way and guide my steps, regardless of the path in front of me, regardless of how hard it may seem or how hard it may feel in that time. I know that God has my back through all of it. And I'm not one to force religion on you or tell you that what you're doing is bad and you should do this instead. I'm just here to say that God loves you regardless of who you are, regardless of what you went through, and know that he is willing to meet you wherever you are right now. Because I know how life gets. It gets low sometimes. It gets lonely and it gets very scared. Sometimes you don't even know who to turn to or who to run to. So if you're that type of person and you're currently in your process and you're going through it, I just invite you to just pick up your Bible. Test God and see what he does for you. A lot of the times, it's not that he doesn't care about you. He's just sending a situation or circumstance your way, gently knocking on your heart so that you can open the door for him. So just pick up your Bible. If you don't have a Bible, download the Bible app and just read a verse. Open it to a random chapter and see what God is trying to tell you. Because for me, in every low moment that I've ever had, any depressing moment that I've ever walked through, God has always been there and he has always pulled me out of it. So whether he's calling on you to read your Bible or say a quick prayer or even go to church, I would just say give it a try, test him out, and see what happens. And secondly, I need you to trust yourself and trust the freaking process, bro. Everything happens for you in life and not to you. In the moment that you shift your perspective to see that the current circumstances and situations that you're going through right now in this very moment are to develop you to become the person worth having the life that you dream of. And the cool thing is, it isn't just meant for you. It's meant to develop you so that you can serve the people that you're meant to serve, so that you can become the best version of yourself for your family, for your friends, and your community. And so that you can do some pretty cool things while you're still on this earth. Because if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. And you likely wouldn't want to do it. Think of anything meaningful in your life. Literally anything that you want to do or aspire to do at some point in your life. It's hard. You have to work towards it. And not everyone has it. That's why it's so desirable. That's why you wake up every day and think about it, because you don't just have instant access and are able to stretch out your hands and get it. Like getting jacked, getting a good relationship with God, building your dream home, driving your dream car, taking care of your family, retiring your parents. These are all things that you have to work towards and not just wake up one day and it's landed in your lap. So don't look for things to just be easy. Work at it. Trust the process. Fall in love with the process and realize that you are being prepared for your next season. You're being prepared for who you're meant to be. That is the whole point of your self-development journey. It's to become the best version of you. And that only starts when you trust the process. Because nothing will humble you faster than building a one-person business and realizing just how many skills you actually don't have in your pocket. Lesson number 2. The outcome is just a distraction. Here's what most people do, and I also did for a very long time. They obsess over the likes, the comments, the engagement, the interactions, the growth, the follower count, and all these external things that really don't mean anything. Even when it comes to the status and the dollars, like how good would it feel to say, oh, I grew my audience to 100K and I'm making 50K a month. That's a surreal feeling, and that is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you can't control those things. You can't wake up and say, I have 100K followers, or you can't wake up and just magically put $50,000 in your bank account. That is the same mindset that held me back for a very long time. It's always about chasing the external thing instead of focusing on what you can actually control. And before we get into it, yes, you can dream big, you can think big. I want you to think bigger. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem isn't in thinking big. It's when you think big, but then your actions don't align with the big dream that you have. Because a big dream requires big action. So let me explain right quick. When you think about making your first, let's say 10K a month from your business, you think about all the debt you're going to pay off, all the people that you're going to help, the bills that you're going to be ahead of and finally don't have to pay any late fees or cancellation fees, all the things that you're going to be able to do with this newfound success. But then what happens after a while? That same dream, when it comes to working on your content and on your business, you start to procrastinate. You start to put things off for a little bit. You start to get bored and you don't want to work as hard anymore. And all of a sudden, that big dream becomes nothing because you're not putting any action behind it. This is a concept that I learned called goal pedestalization. You see, when you try to over-analyze your goals and treat it as some big thing that is so far out of your reach or so far from where you are right now, what you tell yourself subconsciously is that it's out of reach. You literally tell yourself that you can't get it because it's too far. And that is when the procrastination hits. That's when you all of a sudden stop working so hard. That's when all of a sudden, when you're supposed to be working on your content, you find yourself watching Netflix and you can't pull yourself or force yourself to stop. This causes your mind to work against you instead of for you. Instead, what I want you to do is make the inputs your goals. You see, the dream is only good for knowing where you want to end up, but the vehicle for getting there is your actions. Without the practice, you don't build skills. Without the time, you don't build experience. And without the effort, you don't get better. Vision without execution is hallucination. Thomas Edison. In other words, you can't control when the outcome happens. You have to work in order to get there. You can have the biggest vision in the world if you want, but if you're not putting the effort behind it, then you're just hallucinating. It's just imagination at that point. Because the most successful artists don't even focus on the finished painting. And a lot of times, they don't even know what the finished painting is going to be. Instead, they focus on each brushstroke, perfecting it as much as possible. And once they're finished, they take a step back and look at what they created. And it's a beautiful painting. Lesson number 3, serve one avatar. For the longest time, I was caught up in trying to create a brand that gets you from A to Z. I wanted to help anyone and everyone. And my thought process was, if I help everyone, then certainly my brand will grow faster, my content will reach more people, and I'll be able to make a lot more money in a lot less time. But as you can see, that is not how it works. All you're doing is overwhelming yourself and your audience. They don't know what your brand is for, what it means, or what you do. The entire point of a brand is to have a memorable story. If people don't recognize you and know you for your story or for one thing, you don't have a brand. You're just posting content on social media. And here's the harsh truth. You can't solve a problem for everyone in the world. You can barely solve yours. So you might as well just pick one person that you're most qualified to help and just help that person get from A to B. So what is your story? What is the thing that you're trying to achieve in your life? What have you gone through and were able to accomplish or beat? What are you currently going through that you're still trying to figure out? That is who you're most qualified to serve, because people don't care if you're just thinking about doing it. They only care if you've done it or you're currently doing it. You help them get from A to B. That is who your entire brand, your entire audience, all of your content is going to be attracting. The person who's just one step behind you, just the one. Because the truth is, no one buys your product or service because they just like it. They buy it because they know your story behind it. They know and believe that you're really invested into helping them solve this problem because you're able to solve it for yourself. Think about a mental health coach who once contemplated committing suicide. Think about a fitness creator who once got bullied because they were overweight. Think about a businessman who grew up poor and relied on food stamps when he was growing up. Your story matters. Their story matters. And building a brand that it helps your target avatar get from A to B is what allows you to grow faster. Think about Alex Hormozi. Why do people like him so much? But what part of his story does he share the most so that we can relate to it? He talks about when he was first opening his gym and sleeping on the floor. He talks about leaving his dream job to chase a dream. He talks about his immigrant parent not approving of this new dream and actually shunning him for it. Those are the parts that make him real. Those are the parts that a lot of entrepreneurs go through in their day-to-day life. That is why you listen to him. And then seeing that he was able to go build a multi-million-dollar company, it gives you the push that you need to see that, oh, I can go do something like that too. I can one day be in his position. I'm going through what he went through right now in my life, and he knows how to navigate it. And then slowly, you start to build an audience who believes in you, an audience who has the depth and knowledge behind why you're building your brand, your services, your products, and who are actually willing to trust you and take the next step in either purchasing your product, following your page, or even leaving a comment on a video. Lesson number 4, stop platform hopping. I hopped from Instagram to TikTok to YouTube, back to Instagram, back to TikTok, back to YouTube, and I call this the platform merry-go-round. When things slow down and you're not seeing the growth and the results that you were expecting, you just hop to another platform looking for a hit of dopamine, and when that slows down, you go to the next. And next thing you know, you're on a merry-go-round, jumping from platform to platform, going in circles and never really building anything that has meaning, substance, or value. That is the reason why 99% of new creators fail. That is why your content doesn't get any traction, because you can't build and be consistent in one place. What happens as you switch from platform to platform is that you don't learn the nuances and details of how a platform actually works. You don't learn that you can post certain things or talk about certain things in a certain way on different platforms. What works on YouTube might not work on Instagram, and what works on Instagram might not work on TikTok. But the more that you keep switching, you don't learn these things. You don't pick up on the truth of the matter is that consistency is the name of the game. And I don't care how many times you've heard it, I'm going to remind you over and over and over again. You have to be consistent. Here's what I want you to start doing instead. Look at your content as an alarm clock. And the moment that alarm clock goes off, that is the moment that you blow up. But here's the thing. You don't know when the alarm clock is going to go off. But as long as you keep posting, as long as you stay consistent, the time is running down and down and down and down. But the moment that you stop, the moment that you switch platforms, the moment that you take a break, the moment that you don't feel like posting, you reset the entire alarm clock. So in order to get to that viral moment, or that moment of your brand blowing up and everything changing for you, you have to stay consistent with one platform, and you have to stay consistent with posting every single day. So the goal now is to stop resetting the clock. It's to keep going regardless if you see the results now or a year from now. It's to keep going by any means possible, because at the end of the day, it's not about your feelings. It's about the vision that you have and want to achieve, regardless of what type of day you're having. If you want to write, then go on Substack or Twitter. If you want to create short form videos, go on TikTok or Instagram Reels. And if you want to make long form content, post on YouTube. My advice is to start with short form and then move to long form as you get better. Once you master one platform, move on to the next. Until you do that, do not move on. If you don't know how to grow, don't know how a platform works, or you don't have any type of guidance or mentor on it, don't move on yet. Learn the nuances, build your audience, and then move on to the next platform. The big question is usually, oh, which one is the best, or which one do I start with? I suggest starting with the one that you understand and use the most. So if you're on YouTube 24/7, you're watching long form YouTube videos day and night, I would suggest starting with that. If you're on TikTok 24/7 and you're watching TikTok videos day and night, I would suggest starting with that. There's no one size fits all. You have to know what best works for you. And as you keep getting better, as you keep growing, then you can make the decision if you want to change platforms or go to another one, or keep riding the platform that you're currently on. Lesson number 5. What is the best digital product or service that I should sell? This question rung in my head for ages as a beginner, especially when you're new, because no one knows you yet. You don't really have that much traction. So when you create a product or service or any type of mentorship, you're not getting any real interest yet. So you don't even know if it works, if people want it, if you're doing something wrong, if your product is wrong, if you need to be selling something else. And it can actually make you question your sanity just a little bit. But that's okay, because we're sticking to the process regardless of what the rewards or outcome looks like. I've sold digital products, coaching programs, and consulting services. And from working with other creators, let's break down digital products and coaching. Number 1, a digital product. It's a template, a course, or community that can be sold over and over and over again without your physical time being needed. This works best if you have a lot of traffic. Number two, coaching, a masterclass, cohort, or program that is either one-on-one or group coaching, which requires your physical time to be there 24/7. This is best for profitability and being able to make money with low traffic. I believe that as a one-person business, each of them will have their time and place in which you should create them, run them, and stop using them. But in all honesty, if you're a beginner or you're just starting out, you don't want to sell a digital product yet. It is extremely hard to make enough sales to be profitable. You see, when you sell a digital product, your main focus is volume. You want as much people seeing your product, your brand, your landing page as much as possible. And if you just started posting, that process might take a little bit of time. You might have a crazy video that blows up in the first month, or it might be in the first year. You never know when it's coming. All you can do is keep posting. And if you're the type of person who needs bills paid right now and you can't afford to wait for your brand to blow up or wait for your brand to be successful or have a lot of volume, then coaching is what's best for you. Both work in their respective time and places. But if you're looking for more profitability, then coaching helps you to make a lot more money without needing a lot more traffic. You just need a few qualified people who are interested in the specific problem that you help them solve. Another thing that I like to add is that it's heavily dependent on what your niche is and the transformation that you help your clients get. So for example, you might be in a niche where it is hard to understand or implement some of the topics that you might talk about. So putting it in a digital product like a course or a template might be extremely difficult for your customers to implement it by themselves. In that case, a coaching program will be perfect. But someone else might be in a niche where they can just give you the step-by-step process and you can just implement it or use it immediately. That would be best for a template or a course where your customer understands what they need to do and is broken down simply so that they can just follow it or get it done. But one of the most telling factors to if you should pick a digital product or coaching program is your ability to get results. If you aren't confident in your results, then I recommend a coaching program, because what happens inside of a coaching program is that you're working with someone one-on-one or in a group setting, and you're able to see specifically where they're having trouble with, what frustrations they're having, what limiting beliefs they're going through. And this allows you to get an inside look on what your ideal avatars or your ideal customers are actually going through in their day-to-day life within whatever domain or niche that you help them. These limiting beliefs, frustrations, and tactics that work or don't work help you to know and create a better system to get them results. So as you're working with someone one-on-one and collecting this feedback and information, your feedback loop is much faster than someone who's selling a digital product, and you're able to see where you need to tweak your system or tweak your unique framework that you specifically teach people. Think of it as selling a food or a beverage. You wouldn't just try it one time and then send it out into the world for everyone to consume. That'd be a complete waste of money, because your entire goal is to perfect the recipe so that people actually love it and it gives them a specific taste or a specific flavor that they're looking for. And if no one wants it, then you just wasted all that money and flushed it down the toilet. So your coaching program is your ability to perfect your recipe, and your digital product is mass production. And to be honest, a coaching program sells a lot more than you would actually think. Most beginners think that $999 is a lot of money and no one's willing to pay for it and all these little things. But you'd be surprised. If you find a specific problem with a specific solution, there are a lot of people who'd be willing to pay for more direct one-on-one to get faster results, because they don't have time to sit around and read a course and wait for a specific transformation. They'd rather get a tailored game plan or help to what they have going on right now today and move much faster. A one-person business is as profitable as you make it. If you want to make it work, you will. If you don't put the work in, then it won't work. And you'll say it's a scam and it doesn't work and all these other things that people like to say online. But in all honesty, it comes down to how much you're willing to work on yourself and become a better version of you. That is why I advocate for the one person business and the literal skills that you will build and learn along the way. So if you'd like my help to building your one person business and monetizing your personal brand, I have an application link down below. Or if you'd like to check out my digital products, I have scale monetization down below, which will help you build and launch a profitable digital product using my pain mapping system. It's down below in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, to get, you must first give.